Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Midnight Affairs Tales. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world you are watching from right now. Let us know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story, Chapter 1. Blood in the Silence. The door creaked open with a softness that didn't match the war zone echoing in Logan's head. Combat boots hit hardwood. Quiet. Heavy. He stood still in the doorway, duffel bag sliding from his shoulder to the floor. Home. After 8 months of sandstorms, gunfire, and missions no one back home would ever read about. He'd imagined this moment. Maddie running to him, tears in her eyes, his arms swallowing her whole. But there was no Logan. No, oh my God, you're back early. Only silence. The house was dim. A wine glass sat on the coffee table. 2. Candle wax hardened into a puddle. He moved slowly through the hallway, eyes scanning like he was clearing a compound. Laughter. Not from a TV. From the bedroom. Her voice. Sweet. Fake. His name wasn't in it. He didn't go in. He didn't need to. A phone sat face down on the kitchen counter, screen glowing faintly. A message open. Not even locked. Brandon, I still taste you. I hope he never comes back. Maddie, he won't. Even if he does, he's just noise. His hand clenched the edge of the counter so tight the wood groaned. But he didn't flip the table. Didn't punch the wall. Instead, he exhaled. One long breath. His pulse steadied. His vision cleared. Rage was a blade, but held wrong. It had cut you first. So he left the phone, walked back to his car, sat in silence. They thought he wouldn't come back. They thought he'd die overseas. They thought he'd never know. They were wrong. And now? How do you kill someone who doesn't even know they're already bleeding? Wait, I need to tell you something important. Have you ever realized that you keep watching my videos but haven't subscribed yet? This video has reached this point, which means you're enjoying it. So why not subscribe? I have a big goal, 5,000 subscribers, and you can help me reach it. Think about it. If you don't subscribe now, you might miss my next big video. This is the moment. Hit that subscribe button now. Do it now. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss out. I know you'll do it. And when we hit 5,000 subscribers, I have a special surprise for you. Now, let's continue story. The next morning, the smell of pancakes filled the kitchen. Maddie stood barefoot, humming. Innocent. Clean. Morning, baby, she said, leaning in to kiss him. He let her. Tasted betrayal in butter and syrup. You're up early, Logan said, voice low, calm, controlled. You know me, she smiled, brushing her hair behind her ear. Wanted to surprise you. Thought you'd be gone another month. He studied her eyes. Not even a flicker of guilt. I missed you, she said. We need to reconnect. He gave a slight nod. We do. But inside? He was miles away. Last night, he'd copied her phone. Transferred everything to his secure drive. Calls. Texts. Voicemails. He listened to one on the way home from the gym. Maddie, you're the only one who sees me, Brandon. Logan just exists. He's too quiet. Too serious. Brandon, he's a robot. You deserve real passion. Maddie, God, I love when you call me mad. Only you do that. Logan had rewound that line 5 times. Only you do that. Maddie had said that once to him. In a letter while he was deployed. The exact line. He looked at her now. Pouring syrup. Acting like a wife. Pretending. He wanted to scream. But rage was loud. And loud was weak. Hey, I was thinking we should have Brandon and his wife over soon, she said, flipping a pancake. He blinked. Yeah, let's plan that. Really? She smiled, surprised. He smiled back. Absolutely. By noon, Logan had cleared out the shed. To anyone else, it looked like a guy catching up on chores. But inside, gear, boxes, old encrypted laptops, military-grade surveillance kits, stripped from Black Ops runs that were never supposed to exist. He clicked on a voice file. The latest. Maddie. If he ever finds out, I swear. Brandon, he's dangerous. Brandon, then let's be careful. But honestly, he's a ghost. Nobody even notices him. Logan chuckled under his breath. He was invisible. Good. First, he mapped their timeline. When the affair started. Where they met. The hotel they used. The condo Brandon paid for. The money transfers. The fake email accounts. Every liar leaves a trail. They just think they're smart enough to hide it. Second, he contacted Vince, an old ranger. Now private intel. Trusted. Need your eyes on a corporate guy named Brandon K. Allen. Think defense contracts, offshore money, and a wife that doesn't know how to lie clean. Vince paused. You want him followed? No. I want him undone. Logan spent the next hour planting 2 tiny mics under their mattress. Another in her car. One in her lipstick case. Maddie walked in midway. What are you doing in here? Looking for my old jacket, he said without flinching. She smiled. Ah, still keeping warm with army gear? Something like that. She left. Logan stood in the doorway, staring after her. She thought he'd just sit in silence, swallow betrayal like another ration. But Logan had spent years learning how to end enemies quietly, permanently. And now? He was done being the quiet one. The next Sunday, Maddie wore that red blouse Logan once said made her look like trouble. She sat across from him at the kitchen island, swirling wine like she didn't know him anything. So, Brandon's in line for a promotion. Regional director, she said, trying to sound casual. He's brilliant. You'd like him. Logan sipped his coffee. Bitter. Strong. Think so? Yeah. You guys both care about strategy, big picture thinking, all that. He nodded slowly, eyes locked on hers. How long have you worked under him? Couple years now. Why? No reason. He smiled. That quiet, unreadable smile that used to make people in interrogation rooms twitch. Maddie took another drink. You okay? You've been different since you got back. He met her gaze. War does that. She gave a soft sigh and looked away. I just want things to go back to normal. Normal? Normal was dead the second she whispered someone else's name in their bed. Logan stood and kissed the top of her head. We'll get there, he said. Later, in the garage, Logan laid out a printed spreadsheet of Brandon's company travel reimbursements. Vince had sent it over encrypted. 2 dates lined up perfectly with Maddie's fake girls' weekends. He circled them. She wasn't even hiding well. That's what burned the most. Not just betrayal, but how careless they were. Like he wasn't even worth fearing. That would change. They sat at a restaurant on the waterfront. Brandon across from him. Maddie beside Logan, her hand on his knee like she hadn't tried to erase him. Man, I gotta say, Brandon chuckled. Maddie's told me all about you. We're hero. Quiet type, huh? Logan smiled. Just a listener. Brandon ordered steak. Medium rare. Like he deserved to be celebrated. So what's next for you, Logan? He asked. Going back overseas? Not this time. Staying put a while. Brandon's jaw tightened. Just a flicker. That tension you only see if you're looking for it. Maddie cut in. He's thinking of consulting. Maybe security work. That right? Brandon raised a brow. I've got a few people interested in my skill set. Bet you do. Logan leaned forward, voice calm. How about you, Brandon? You and Maddie close at work? Brandon laughed too quickly. We work well together. She's sharp. She is, Logan said, turning to her. Real good at keeping secrets. Maddie froze for half a second, then smiled, too wide. He's teasing. Brandon's face stayed frozen for a beat longer. That was enough. Logan knew now, the affair wasn't just lust. It was power. A plan. Brandon didn't just want Maddie. He wanted Logan gone. After dinner, Logan drove home in silence. You were weird tonight, Maddie said. Yeah, he replied, eyes on the road. Guess I'm still adjusting. To being a ghost. To watching them flinch. To pulling their world apart while smiling in their faces. Logan installed the last camera behind the AC vent while Maddie was in the shower. The feed streamed straight to a secured laptop hidden in the garage. Audio, video, backups to the cloud. Maddie's phone? Cloned. Brandon's? Tapped through his insecure Wi-Fi. Each message was a nail in their coffin. Maddie, he's quieter than usual. Brandon, keep him calm. The second he snaps, he'll ruin everything. Logan watched them talk about him like a sleeping dog. Like he wasn't already 5 steps ahead. He emailed Vince, found discrepancies in Brandon's overseas contracts. Dig deeper. Check shell companies in Panama. A reply came within an hour. Copy. Also, Brandon's HR files are dirty. Found 2 sexual misconduct settlements. One sealed. Of course he was scum. Maddie didn't fall for a man. She fell for leverage. Logan shut the laptop, pulled out a small burner phone, texted a number labeled Ghost. Logan, Phase 2. I want everything public but untraceable. Hit the firm's reputation first. Ghost, on it. Should go live in 48 hours. That night, he sat on the couch beside Maddie. She rested her head on his shoulder, completely at ease. Her phone buzzed. Brandon, call me after he's asleep. She locked the screen and sighed. Work again. Yeah, Logan whispered. Always is. He kissed her forehead. If she only knew. She wasn't living with a husband anymore. She was living with a storm. The invitation came 3 days later. Brandon's wife, Rachel, had no idea. Maddie suggested a couple's dinner, a casual night in, to keep up appearances. Logan agreed with a smile and quiet eyes. He watched her text Brandon from across the kitchen. He's fine with it. Told you, he's clueless. Brandon replied, we're golden. He won't see it coming. Logan poured himself a drink and stared out the window, letting the ice click against the glass. Won't see it coming? He almost laughed. That Saturday, the four of them sat around the patio table, lights strung above them like false stars. Maddie grilled steaks. Brandon brought a bottle of Napa's finest. Rachel complimented Logan on his calm demeanor. I don't know how you do it, she said. All that time overseas. I'd be a wreck. Logan smiled. You get used to chaos. Makes peace feel more calculated. Brandon raised his glass. To calculated peace. Logan clinked it without blinking. Dinner flowed with laughter and subtle lies. Rachel chatted about real estate. Maddie beamed at Brandon like he hung the moon. Logan studied her hand resting under the table, close enough to Brandon's knee that it brushed him more than once. He pretended not to see, but inside, he clocked every flicker in their eyes, every sideways glance. After dessert, Rachel offered to help Maddie with dishes. Logan and Brandon remained. So, Brandon said, stretching back in his chair, any plans for work? Or just kicking back a while? Logan's voice was quiet. Actually, I've been researching fraud law lately. It's fascinating how people get too confident, leave trails. Brandon blinked, caught off guard. Yeah. Logan smiled. Yeah, you'd be surprised what comes to light. Monday morning, Logan parked across the street from Brandon's firm, binoculars resting on the dash. The building was glass and steel, modern, sleek, and soulless, just like Brandon. Through Vince's contact, Logan had planted someone inside, Marcus, a junior IT tech with a gambling problem and a bone to pick. At 10:43 a.m., Marcus texted, Brandon's in a closed door with 2 execs. Talking damage control. Something's leaking. Logan replied, good. Leak more. He waited, watching the lobby rotate with suits and smiles. From the outside, everything looked polished, but rot always started underneath. Later that day, Logan met Marcus behind a gas station off I-75. He's nervous, Marcus said, passing a flash drive. There's been a hit online. Anonymous forum drop. Somebody posted internal budget files. Stuff that shouldn't exist outside accounting. Any mention of Maddie? Not yet. But she's on his private calendar more than HR knows. And Brandon's got a hidden drive. Logan took the flash drive. We need access. Marcus hesitated. Look, I don't want to get burned. You won't. Logan's voice didn't rise, but the weight of it made Marcus nod fast. That night, Logan plugged in the drive. Documents loaded. Red flags everywhere. Ghost clients, inflated invoices, altered dates. He leaned back, jaw clenched. Maddie wasn't just sleeping with Brandon. She was helping him build a shadow empire. He opened an audio file. A recording Marcus had pulled from Brandon's office mic. Brandon. Once this DoD deal goes through, I'm gone. Offshore. Maddie's in. The rest? They'll never catch on. Maddie and Logan. Brandon, he'll fade. Guys like him don't make noise. Logan sat still, the room cold around him. No, he wouldn't fade. He'd make every move echo. Maddie crawled into bed like nothing was burning. Her skin smelled like lavender and betrayal. Logan lay still, his breathing slow and even. She slid her leg over his, placed her hand on his chest. You've been distant lately, she whispered. I'm tired, he said. She leaned in. I could help with that. He turned to face her. Could you? Her lips curved into a smile. I know what you like. He stared into her eyes, wondering how deep the lie ran. How many times had she whispered that to Brandon? In the same tone, with the same smile. She kissed him. It tasted like manipulation. Still, he kissed her back. Not because he wanted to, because she believed she still had control. And as long as she did, she'd keep slipping. Let's go away, she murmured. Just us. Logan raised an eyebrow. Since when? Just to clear our heads. Reset. He nodded slowly. Yeah, that sounds good. Inside, his brain was already spinning. She wanted to run. Maybe Brandon was spooked. Maybe the walls were closing in. After she fell asleep, Logan slipped from bed, walked into the office, pulled out a burner and dialed. Vince, he whispered. She's planning something. I need eyes on her full time now. No slip-ups. Got it. You want us watching Brandon too? No. He's already burning. Watch Maddie. You think she's more dangerous? Logan glanced back toward the bedroom. I don't think. I know. It arrived Tuesday morning. A simple manila envelope, no return address, slid under Brandon's office door like a ghost had delivered it. He picked it up, flipped it over, opened it with no suspicion. Why would he be afraid? He thought he owned the board. But inside were 9 printed photographs, time-stamped, clear, and full color. Photo 1, Maddie unlocking the side door of his condo. Photo 2, Brandon kissing her neck, hand on her waist. Photo 3, Maddie staring straight at the hidden camera, unaware it watched her every week. Then came the transcript. Not printed from a phone. Typed, word for word. Every call, every whisper. And a note at the bottom, in bold black ink. Tick. Tock. Brandon sat back in his chair, pulse hammering in his neck. Sweat gathered at his collar. Who the hell knew? His phone buzzed. Maddie. Maddie, you sent those files to my personal email? What the hell are you doing? Brandon, I didn't send anything. Maddie, they just showed up with a note. My dad almost saw it. Brandon, someone's playing games. Maddie, then play better. Logan watched from across the street. Camera zoomed in on Brandon's panicked expression. He chewed a toothpick, calm as rain. He didn't want Brandon dead. Not yet. Dead men didn't suffer. Logan wanted them alive. Wanted them doubting each other. Paranoid. Fractured. This was just the first package. There would be more. By the end, they wouldn't know who to trust, not even themselves. And Logan would be there, in the shadows, waiting for the moment they begged for mercy he wouldn't give. At precisely 6 a.m. the next morning, Logan triggered the first leak. He posted it anonymously to an encrypted whistleblower board, the kind investigative journalists trawl at 3 a.m. hoping for gold. The post contained 3 attachments, a financial report showing falsified contract invoices from Brandon's company, a heavily redacted email chain between Brandon and a foreign consultant, a short video clip of Brandon bragging in his office about milking defense dollars with a smile. The post went viral in less than 2 hours. By lunch, Brandon's firm was trending on Twitter. By 3 p.m., a congressional oversight account tagged the company in a post reading, "We're reviewing this." Logan sat at a diner booth, coffee in hand, watching the chaos unfold on his laptop. Quiet satisfaction lined his face. Across the table, Vince joined him. "Nice hit," Vince said, sliding into the booth. "The audio's killer." Real cocky. Logan kept his eyes on the screen. It was meant to be. You ready for phase 3? Not yet. Let them scramble. Make mistakes. Outside the window, cars zipped by like nothing had changed. But inside the world of Brandon and Maddie, the walls were shaking. Logan pulled out a folder and handed it to Vince. "What's this?" Vince asked. "A new target. Maddie's father." Vince flipped through it, whistled low. "Judge Wallace. Damn. Didn't know you were going for the family tree. He pulled strings for Brandon once. Covered something dirty years ago. I want eyes on him. He's next." Vince grinned. "You're thorough." Logan's tone didn't change. "No. I'm angry. There's a difference." At the courthouse, Judge Wallace sat in chambers, robe folded on a hanger, sipping scotch like it was water. Maddie's call played through his speakerphone. "I need this gone, Dad. The rumors are getting louder." "Rumors don't scare me," he muttered. "But whoever's behind this, they're smart." "Quiet. Then shut it down." Find them. You've got connections. You think I run the whole damn city? Wallace barked. I buried Brandon's past once. That's all you get. Logan listened from his tapped feed, seated 2 blocks away in a rented black SUV. The judge didn't know he was already compromised. Logan hit a key and recorded the full call, added it to the archive. Evidence pile growing. Later that night, Logan stood in his basement, walls lined with maps, photos, and red thread connections. His operation board was full now. Brandon, Maddie, Wallace, 3 other names, colleagues complicit in the cover-ups, partners in the fraud. Each face had a yellow X. Everyone thought they were separate. But the money trail, emails, surveillance, they all tied back to the same rot. Logan wasn't just a betrayed husband anymore. He was a hunter. And this was bigger than sex or lies. This was about power. About people who thought they were untouchable, counting on silence and shadows to keep them clean. But Logan had lived in shadows. He owned them. His next move wouldn't just shake their house, it would shake the whole damn city. Logan stared at the small black box in his palm. Inside it sat Maddie's wedding ring, platinum, flawless, soulless now. He had found it on the bathroom sink 2 days ago, absent-mindedly left behind after one of her late meetings. She hadn't noticed it missing. That told him everything. He took the ring and dropped it into a glass of scotch, letting it clink to the bottom like a bullet casing. Then he pulled out a small flash drive, one of many he'd been quietly preparing. This one labeled, for her father. Logan packaged the drive inside a crisp envelope, no fingerprints, sealed with wax. He slid it into a courier envelope addressed to Judge Wallace, private. No return name. No need. Inside the drive? Audio clips, screen captures, and a single video. Maddie and Brandon's condo, in the company's executive suite, and most damning, in Wallace's own home during a meeting where illegal favors were arranged in exchange for campaign donations. The final file? A voicemail of Maddie saying, "If Dad ever finds out, just tell him it was all Brandon's idea. He'll believe me over anyone." Logan watched the courier drive off. Calm. Focused. By the time Maddie returned home that night, Logan was outside on the deck, sipping scotch. She kissed him on the cheek and asked, "What are you thinking about?" He looked up, expression unreadable. Just how fast people forget what something really meant. She tilted her head. "Like what?" He swirled his drink. "Like a wedding ring." She laughed. "Oh, I forgot it again, didn't I?" He nodded, eyes hard. "You did." Again. Judge Wallace didn't speak for a full minute after watching the files. His jaw locked. He'd seen corruption, buried scandals, done his own share of backroom dealing. But this? His daughter, deep in federal-level fraud and criminal collusion? His own voice, caught on tape. "You want the contract pushed through. It's going to cost you." Someone had built a case with surgical precision. He picked up his phone, dialing Maddie. "You're going to tell me exactly what you've done." "What are you talking about?" she replied, a little too fast. "I got a package this morning. Care to explain why I'm in a recording discussing federal money laundering?" Silence. Then, "Dad, I don't know what. Don't lie to me, Maddie. Not today. I didn't send anything. It's Brandon. He's trying to scare us. You said you'd protect me." "I am." Wallace exhaled hard. "We need to find whoever's behind this. Before the feds do." Across town, Logan listened through the surveillance tap in Wallace's office. He marked every timestamp, every crack in their story, every mention of fear. They were unraveling. Logan knew something they didn't. People like Maddie and Wallace only stayed powerful because no one had ever made them feel powerless. He was changing that. Later that night, Logan met Vince again in a parking lot near the pier. "This is bigger than just revenge now," Logan said. "These people don't just cheat. They sell influence, bury lives. You thinking about going to the feds?" "Not yet. Let them choke on their own secrets first. Then we finish them." Vince nodded. "And Maddie?" Logan's face didn't move. She chose her side. The next morning, Maddie came downstairs with red-rimmed eyes, mascara streaked lightly across her cheek. "Brandon's in trouble," she said, voice cracking just enough. "He's being questioned. They found something in the accounting." Logan looked up from his coffee. "That's so?" She nodded quickly, pulling her robe tight. "He says someone's framing him. Dumped files online." "Framing?" Logan tilted his head. Any idea who'd do that? She hesitated. No, but it's serious. And my dad's panicking. He said this could ruin his entire bench appointment. Logan watched her with detached interest. Must be hard. Juggling two men and a father on fire. Maddie flinched. What's that supposed to mean? I'm just saying, he said quietly, you've got your hands full. She stood there for a moment, trying to read him, trying to figure out if he knew. But Logan's face was a wall, cold, expressionless, just like they trained him. You don't believe me, she said softly. He reached across the table, took her hand, looked her in the eye. I believe you're scared, he said. And she was. Because the Brandon she knew, the untouchable, overconfident king of the firm, was sweating bullets and burying files in shredded piles. The cracks were visible now. Clients pulling out. Auditors sniffing around. The house of cards was shaking. Maddie sniffled again. I just want things to go back to normal. Logan stood, leaned in, and kissed her forehead. Normal's coming, he said. Sooner than you think. She smiled, relieved. And Logan smiled too. Because she thought that meant safety. But what it really meant was judgment. In a dim-lit cigar lounge downtown, Brandon sat with two men in tailored suits and eyes too cold to be just accountants. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about control. I need this handled, Brandon said under his breath. Someone's targeting me, smearing my name with doctored files. One of the men, DeMarco, eyed him. They're not doctored. We've seen the originals. Brandon stiffened. You've made a mess, DeMarco continued. And we don't clean messes. We erase them. If your problem talks, you lose your protection. Brandon's lips twitched. He doesn't even know what he's dealing with. You sure about that? Across town, Logan watched the meeting unfold in real time from his surveillance van. One tiny camera hidden in a table lamp, planted weeks ago by a janitor Logan paid in cash. Brandon was in deeper than Maddie knew. That was the leverage Logan needed. He clicked on a side screen. Vince had uploaded a new drop, corporate tax fraud and offshore accounts, traced and cleaned for public viewing. All set to leak. But Logan paused, looking directly into the van's camera as if staring at someone beyond the screen. You watching this from Chicago? Maybe LA? Or some quiet town in Texas where everyone pretends these things don't happen. He leaned in, voice low and chilling. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching this from? Which city's seeing the truth drop live? Because after this chapter, I guarantee yours could be next. He had sinned. Within 10 minutes, hashtags trended. Hashtag the Brandon collapse, hashtag Judge Wallace exposed, hashtag where are you watching from back in the lounge. DeMarco slid a card across the table. Last favor, Brandon. Use it wisely. Logan screenshot the card's number. Another piece of the puzzle. Because soon, every player in this game would wish they'd folded early. That evening, Logan stood outside the dim, flickering neon sign of the Grid, a half-legal data broker spot in the industrial zone. Inside waited a contact, Cam Torres, hacker for hire, good with code, terrible with judgment. Cam, Logan said as he approached the table, you still loyal to people who save your ass? Cam gave a twitchy grin. You saved me from prison. That earns you at least 3 favors. I only need one. He slid over a thumb drive. Inside are Maddie's encrypted backups. Brandon's unlisted calls. I need the passwords cracked. Discreetly. Cam frowned. That'll take time. And I need to be paid. You will be, Logan said. If I don't disappear first. Cam raised a brow. That's serious? Logan's tone didn't shift. This isn't a game. You mess up, you burn. You stay loyal, you walk away clean. Kim swallowed. Understood. While Kim worked, Logan returned to Maddie. She was on the couch, legs folded, scrolling her phone. They're coming after Brandon, she said quickly. Something big. The press is circling like vultures. Logan pretended to look concerned. Think it'll hit you? No, she said. I kept distance. It's all on him. A lie. Another one. She didn't even see the test coming. Later that night, Cam messaged, password cracked. You'll want to see this. Logan clicked on a file labeled private_insurance_policy. Inside, a contract proving Maddie had signed on to receive Brandon's offshore funds in the event of his accidental death. His blood ran cold. This wasn't just cheating. This was planning his exit. She had insurance on betrayal. And Logan now had proof. The message thread had been wiped clean. Maddie must have thought she was smart, deleting only what mattered, keeping the fluff. But Cam's recovery software had restored it all. Brandon, you sure he won't catch on? Maddie, he still thinks I'm his broken little wife. He won't move until it's too late. Brandon, let's move the timeline up. You take care of your side. I'll handle mine. Maddie, I'll fake a breakdown. He'll never see it coming. Logan read every line in silence. Then he scrolled to a video attachment. His stomach turned. It was Maddie rehearsing tears in the bathroom mirror, whispering the lines she planned to cry in front of him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just so lonely. Practiced. Performed. Perfect. The anger didn't come in a wave. It came in silence, like a tide that never recedes. Logan opened his laptop, pulled up his warboard, updated it, drew a line from Maddie to a new name, Shelley Greer, an HR exec at Brandon's firm. One of the few people Maddie regularly met off hours. He zoomed in on a new photo: Maddie, Shelley, and Brandon at a private charity dinner 2 weeks ago. He circled Shelley's face. New target. He then texted Vince, find Shelley. Follow her. Discreet. She's next on the list. The storm was only growing darker. And Logan? He wasn't just hunting now. He was erasing legacies one name at a time. The headline hit the press just before sunrise. Defense contractor Brandon Allen reported missing amid ongoing federal scrutiny. Brandon's car was found near a private marina. Keys still in the ignition. No note. No trace. Maddie sat at the kitchen table, pale, phone shaking in her hand. He's gone, she whispered. They think he killed himself. Logan blinked, slow. Did he? I don't know. Her eyes welled up. He was under pressure. It got too real. Fake tears again. Logan had seen better actors in field interrogations. But this wasn't part of his plan. Brandon wasn't supposed to vanish. That night, Logan sat in the basement, scanning marina footage frame by frame. One grainy shot Brandon handing a duffel bag to someone in a black hoodie. Not suicide. Escape. He called Vince. Brandon's alive, Logan said. Find out where he went. He staged this. I'm on it, Vince replied. But the media's buying the death angle. Maddie too. No, Logan said. She's not mourning. She's waiting. For what? For money. And for me to lower my guard. He stared at the wall of photos, red strings twisting like veins. With Brandon dead, Maddie could now shift blame, reframe herself as a grieving partner caught in a mess she didn't make. But Logan had her voice, her texts, her insurance policy, and now he had her motive. Because the only thing more dangerous than a liar was a liar who thinks she's off the hook. At 3:27 p.m. the next day, Logan sent an anonymous tip to 3 newsrooms. Subject line: cheating widow or co-conspirator? Attached: screenshots of Brandon and Maddie's messages. Video of them entering the condo. Timeline cross-referenced with travel receipts. Her signature on a co-owned shell company. By 6 p.m., it was on every platform. Wife of missing exec linked to off-books accounts and alleged affair. Maddie saw the story mid-dinner, fork halfway to her mouth. Her hand dropped. What is this? She muttered. Why are they saying my name? Logan leaned over, scanning her screen. Looks like someone exposed you. I didn't do anything wrong. He tilted his head. Brandon's married. You were hiding funds. You signed documents. Kind of a trifecta, huh? Her face twisted, disbelief shifting to fear. I need to call my dad, she mumbled, rushing upstairs. Logan watched her go, then quietly opened his phone. Texted Vince. Send me all financial transfers linked to Maddie's name in the last 90 days. Focus on international. He turned on the TV. News anchors debated. Was Maddie an innocent pawn or something else? The court of public opinion didn't wait for trials. Logan didn't either. The next morning, Logan sat across from Detective Andrea Miles, a former military investigator now tied to the state fraud unit. They met in a coffee shop, civilian casual, nothing official. You said you had information, she said, watching him closely. Logan slid over a sealed envelope. Brandon Allen didn't disappear. He escaped. She opened the envelope. Inside, proof of a fake identity, flight logs, and security footage. This is federal level, she said. Why come to me? Because I don't trust people who wear suits and pretend they're blind. You? You did 2 tours. You don't flinch. Miles scanned the docs. You want to nail him, don't you? I want to burn the whole web. Maddie. Her father. Brandon. Anyone who helped cover this up. And who are you, exactly? Logan looked her dead in the eye. Just a soldier cleaning up his own war. Miles nodded slowly. You've got 10 times more evidence than most people bring in a year. But this will take time. I'm not in a rush, Logan said. Just make sure when they fall, it's permanent. Back home, Maddie was waiting. You've been out a lot lately, she said, eyes narrowed. Where do you go? Logan kissed her cheek. Just needed some air. You know how it is. She smiled thinly. You're being good to me lately. He held her hands. I'm a good soldier, Maddie. Always follow orders. She laughed, but she didn't know. Logan was no longer following orders. He was rewriting them. And in his new rulebook, traitors don't get happy endings. Maddie stepped into the office that morning like she always did, heels sharp, lipstick flawless. But something was different. Eyes lingered longer. Conversation stopped mid-sentence when she walked by. Smiles seemed forced. She passed reception. Chloe, the new intern, barely looked up. Normally, she gushed over Maddie's outfits. Not today. Then came the whispers. I heard she signed off on the offshore files. Isn't that her name in the article? They said she was involved with him. She walked faster, heartbeat quickening. Inside her office, she slammed the door and locked it. Grabbed her phone. No new messages from her dad. No reply from Brandon. His line still dead. She scrolled through the article again. The comments section was brutal. Can't believe she played the grieving card. Another gold digger who thought no one would dig. Wonder what her husband thinks, she flinched. Logan. He hadn't mentioned the article. He hadn't accused her, demanded answers, or shown any anger. Just soft looks and gentle tones. That scared her more than yelling ever could. She pulled up a new text draft. To Logan. Can we talk tonight? Just us? But she didn't hit send. Instead, she looked up at the photo on her desk. Her and Logan on their wedding day. Her smile radiant. His? Subtle. Closed. She suddenly saw something in that photo she hadn't noticed before. He was always watching. Even then, Vince leaned against the hood of his car, arms crossed, expression tight. You're not gonna like this, he said as Logan approached. What happened? Vince pulled out a flash drive. Someone in my crew leaked details to Wallace. He knows you're alive, and he knows you're feeding intel to the press. Logan didn't flinch. Who was it? Cam. The name hit like a cold slap. Logan had vouched for Cam. Brought him in. Why? Money. The judge paid him through a crypto shell. Cam panicked. Thought if he played both sides, he'd come out clean. He won't. Vince sighed. Want me to take care of it? Logan paused. No. Let him squirm. I'll handle it. Later that night, Logan stood outside Cam's apartment. He didn't knock. Just texted. Logan, I know what you did. I'm giving you one chance to fix it. Send me everything Wallace asked for. Every transfer. Every call. If I don't get it in an hour, I go public with your name. 10 minutes later, the files started arriving. Cam begged for forgiveness and voice notes. Logan saved none of them. He opened the documents. Wallace wasn't just protecting Maddie, he was cleaning her trail. Paying off junior staff, deleting records, manipulating legal timelines. This wasn't panic. It was strategy. They were preparing to throw Brandon under the bus, paint Maddie as a victim, the good daughter caught in a bad man's web. But Logan had more than documents. He had Maddie's real voice. Her face. Her planning. Her pride. And soon, the world would too. Judge Wallace's office was quiet. Too quiet. The package arrived during lunch. Black envelope. No postage. Hand-delivered. His assistant brought it in with trembling fingers. It just appeared on your desk. Wallace opened it slowly. Inside, no letter. Just a flash drive and a printed transcript. He plugged it in, curiosity masking dread. Video file 01. Maddie. Laughing in Brandon's bed. Saying, he's just a uniform. I smile, he melts. It's almost pathetic. Video file 02. Brandon, on a call. Her dad's got friends in federal review. She'll walk. I'll take the fall if it comes to it. Worth it. Wallace's face went stone gray. He flipped to the transcript. A recording from a week ago. Wallace, on phone, if she's tied to this, you bury it. I don't care what you have to delete. Logan watched the scene play out live via the hacked security cam feed from Wallace's office. No sound on the video, but he didn't need it. The look on Wallace's face? Panic. Maddie had overplayed her hand, dragged her father into her mess. And now Wallace's career, his seat, his reputation was shaking under the weight of her ego. Logan leaned back, satisfaction subtle on his face. This wasn't about explosions. It was about pressure. Constant. Relentless. Inescapable. And Wallace had just felt his first crack. It was late. Logan stood in the hallway just outside the bedroom. Maddie was asleep, or pretending to be. Her breathing slow, perfectly timed, almost rehearsed. He watched her. A month ago, she would have been a mystery. Now she was a file. A trail of receipts, betrayals, and lies dressed in perfume. He walked to her side of the bed, dropped something gently onto the pillow. A photograph. It was her and Brandon at the marina 2 nights before his disappearance. Arms locked. Smiling. Underneath it, a note in clean, block lettering. You've got one chance left. Use it. The next morning, she found it. Said nothing. But her hands trembled when she poured her coffee. Later that day, Logan stood in the shadows of a parking garage. Vince pulled up and tossed him a burner phone. What's this? Logan asked. Cam's dead. Logan's body went still. OD, Vince said. Too clean. Too fast. Wallace had him wiped. Logan's jaw tightened. That's their move? Clean up the mess. Vince nodded. Time to hit harder. Get loud. Logan shook his head. No, not yet. Why not? Because I'm waiting for Maddie to make her real move. She's scared now. She's desperate. And that's when people show their hand. He looked out across the lot. I steady. She thinks I'm still playing catch-up. Vince asked, and you're not. Logan gave a quiet smile. I already know how her story ends. 3 hours later, Maddie stood in front of a mirror, rehearsing a call. She'd already dialed once. Hung up. Dialed again. Finally, she said, we have a problem. He's onto everything. A pause. Then Brandon's voice, alive, distant, distorted through a voice scrambler. You were supposed to handle this. I tried. He's not who I thought he was. He's methodical. Smart. He's watching me. Then we stick to the plan. There is no plan anymore. The walls are closing in. Maddie, get to the safe room. I'm not now. She hung up. Logan, listening from the surveillance van, stared at the waveform on his laptop. The signal had bounced through 4 countries. But the voice was Brandon's. He wasn't just alive, he was orchestrating the chaos remotely. The safe room wasn't just a panic shelter. It was a vault connected to Brandon's off-grid servers, high-frequency traders, encrypted tunnels. And Maddie had access. This wasn't about love. It never was. She was his partner, his cover, his funnel. And Logan hadn't just married a liar. He'd married an operative. He turned to Vince. I need eyes on that room. We're going in soon. What do we do when we get there? Vince asked. Logan looked back at the screen. Maddie was packing a small bag, passport, encrypted flash drives, burner phones. We don't knock. Maddie drove fast, out past the city limits, past security checkpoints Brandon had pre-cleared, into a gated estate that didn't exist on public maps. Inside, biometric scans, cameras, and reinforced walls. The safe room. She entered alone. The lights turned blue. Screens lit up. Global accounts. Movement. Codes. Video feeds of Brandon, bearded, hidden in some remote facility, issuing instructions like a ghost general. I didn't sign up for this, she whispered. Yes, you did. Brandon's voice rang out. You promised it would be clean. You promised to be smart. But you let him live. I couldn't just. He's not the type you can just bury. Then we cut him out. Permanently. No, Maddie said quickly. Let me fix it. Give me time. You don't have time, Maddie. You've got one option. Silence him, or I'll do it myself. She stared at the screen. Then, slowly, nodded. Outside, Logan crouched in the woods with a scope on the building. She's in, Vince said, watching through a drone feed. She's got access. Logan spoke into his mic. Copy. Wait until she leaves. We need what's inside. You sure she's not turning back? Logan stared at her image on the feed. She's past the point of turning. He watched her walk deeper into the room, into the system, into the empire she helped build. And just like that, she was no longer his wife. She was the enemy. 2 days after Maddie accessed the safe room, a name popped up on Logan's screen he hadn't seen in years. Alina Cruz, former defense intel. Logan had worked one mission with her overseas, ghost-level clearance. She'd gone dark after a failed operation, rumored to have disappeared into the private sector. No one had seen her since. Now she was texting him. Alina, you're in over your head. Let's talk. I'm on your side. He met her at a gas station on Route 17, back entrance, no cameras, no phones. Alina stepped from the shadows, leather jacket, hair tied back, eyes like steel. You look like hell, she said. Feels like it, Logan replied. You're chasing Brandon. Bad idea. I'm not chasing. I'm pulling the floor out from under them. Alina exhaled. I used to work for a contractor who shared back-end systems with Brandon's firm. There's more here than blackmail or offshore accounts. He's running a backdoor into military procurement. Maddie's not just a side piece. She's key to moving billions. Logan's face hardened. She has the access. She is the access. Then I need everything you've got. Alina handed over a drive. This is what you need to kill their cover. But you have to move fast. Brandon's going fully dark. New ID. New handlers. Once he disappears, this becomes untraceable. Logan looked at the drive. This is how we break them. Alina nodded. This is how we make sure they never rebuild. Maddie returned home 3 days later. Calm. Controlled. She cooked dinner. Chicken and wine. Talked like nothing had changed. Logan played along, matching her lies with quiet smiles. She sat across from him and said, I've been thinking, maybe we should leave the city. Start over. Start over? He repeated. She nodded. Somewhere quiet. Maybe Utah. Or Montana. Somewhere no one knows us. He leaned forward. Why now? Because we've both been through enough. Logan studied her. Every blink. Every twitch. She wasn't running from him. She was preparing to disappear with the money. I'll think about it, he said, keeping his tone flat. That night, while she slept, Logan opened her encrypted laptop, accessed through a ghost login Alina had given him. Inside? Travel documents. Foreign bank access. A secondary identity under a false name, Madeline Reese. She was ready to ghost. But she wouldn't get the chance. Logan uploaded a virus to her access point. Silent, untraceable, and timed. It would trigger the second she tried to move the funds or cross a border. Every account would lock. Every asset frozen. And a full report would be emailed to 3 federal offices, with her face front and center. He wasn't going to chase her anymore. He was going to let her run, and crash straight into the wall he built. The explosion came not with fire, but with headlines. At 9 a.m., a bombshell article dropped across every major news site. Whistleblower reveals secret procurement pipeline. Defense funds laundered through private shelf firms. Brandon's name was mentioned. Maddie's was hinted at. Judge Wallace? Quoted in a leaked call begging to bury this quietly. Maddie read the article in stunned silence. Her phone started buzzing. Over and over. Her father. Her lawyer. Old contacts. One by one, the ground began crumbling under her. She turned to Logan. Did you see this? He looked up from the kitchen table. Calm. Yeah, pretty wild. They have no proof, she said quickly. This is fake. You sure about that? He said, his voice low and deliberate. Maddie stared at him. What are you saying? He stood, walked toward her, close enough to smell her perfume. You thought I wouldn't find out. Thought you were smarter. That you'd leave me behind with nothing but ashes. Logan, I didn't. Don't lie to me now. For the first time, her face cracked. The mask slipped. What are you going to do? He leaned in, voice like a knife. I already did it. The lights in the house flickered. Maddie's phone buzzed again. Account access denied. Backup security lock engaged. She ran to her laptop. Logged in. Access revoked. She turned back, eyes wide. What did you do? I burned it all, Logan said. The accounts. The backups. The escape. It's all gone. Her face went pale. You can't do this to me. You did this to yourself. Then he left her there, standing in the middle of a collapsing empire she helped build, screaming at the silence that answered her back. Maddie didn't leave the house for 2 days. Not after the article. Not after her accounts froze. Not after Logan stopped pretending. She tried calling her father. Straight to voicemail. Her lawyer? Vanished. Brandon? Still a ghost. She poured herself a drink, scotch this time, like Logan used to. She stared at the cracked screen of her laptop. An error code flashed every time she tried to log in. Ashfall 01. She'd seen that code once before. Years ago on Brandon's tablet. It was a kill switch, an irreversible purge tied to a classified financial protocol. When activated, it triggered a full system lock, deleting transactional history, wiping identities, and sending alerts to international fraud divisions. She whispered, he knew the whole time. Upstairs, Logan stood at the bedroom window, watching a black SUV pull into the street. He didn't flinch. The vehicle idled, then rolled on. Not yet. The noose hadn't finished tightening. Downstairs, Maddie started tearing the living room apart, searching for anything she could use. Old burners, backup drives, flash memory, all blank. She tried to scream. Nothing came out. Logan entered quietly. You knew about Ashfall, she said, breath ragged. I named it. You destroyed everything. No. I gave you the option to stop. You didn't. You ruined me. No, Maddie, he said, stepping closer. You built this. I just shut off the lights. Judge Wallace stared out his office window, hands trembling. 2 more subpoenas had landed on his desk. One from the DOJ, the other from an oversight committee. And now reporters were camped outside his gated home. He turned back to the video playing on his screen, his own voice saying, "The girl's my daughter. Make it disappear, or I'll make you disappear." He gritted his teeth, picked up the phone, and dialed an encrypted line. "Get Brandon on," he snapped. The voice on the other end. "Brandon's gone dark. New location. No contact allowed. I don't care. My daughter's being crucified in the media and I'm being dragged down with her." A long pause. Then fix it. Or take the fall. The call ended. Wallace stood still. Then he did something rare for him. He panicked. Across the city, Logan uploaded another document set to his private network. The latest drop contained wire transfers from Wallace's clerk to offshore legal filters, clear tampering with court records. A full trail. Fully verified. Vince looked at the screen beside him. This drop's nuclear. Logan nodded. Time to stop the bleeding. Let them hemorrhage. What happens after this? Logan didn't blink. We cut the heart. That night, Maddie finally broke. She knocked softly on Logan's office door. He opened it, face unreadable. "I need to talk," she said, voice shaking. "Please." He stepped aside. She walked in slowly, nervous, eyes darting to the cameras she knew might be watching. "I know I screwed up," she said. "But this is bigger than both of us now. Brandon, he's not going to stop. He'll burn it all." Logan folded his arms. "So you want my help now?" "I want a way out. I can give you what's left, access logs, passwords, server codes. But I want protection. Witness immunity." He stared at her for a long moment. "You think you're in a position to negotiate?" "I'm not stupid," she whispered. "You don't want to go down with this, either. We both know the feds don't play fair." He walked past her, locked the door, then turned. "Okay," he said. "Give me everything." She opened her purse, pulled out a silver USB stick. "This has the backdoor keys to Brandon's core servers. He used me to mask them. I'm done playing his game." He took the drive, looked it over. "You just handed me the trigger." She nodded. "So we're good." Logan met her eyes. "No." He stepped back, opened a hidden drawer in his desk, and slid out a recorder. He pressed play. "Maddie," recorded, "let's fake the panic. If he runs, he's guilty. If he fights, we play the victim." Her face drained. "You never stopped lying," Logan said. The walls around her weren't closing in anymore. They'd already closed. And now? There was no door left. Only the drop. Maddie didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the recorder's voice still echoing in her head. If he runs, he's guilty. Logan hadn't said another word after the playback. He simply walked out and left her alone with the truth and the walls. Now every phone call ended before it began. No more lawyers. No more handlers. Her father stopped answering. The firm disowned her publicly. She wasn't just off the list, she was a liability. By morning, news anchors were debating prison time. At 10:32 a.m., 2 federal agents pulled up outside. Maddie stood in the kitchen in silence. When the knock came, she didn't run, didn't cry. She opened the door, face blank. "You're under investigation for conspiracy to commit fraud, federal contract manipulation, and obstruction of justice," the taller agent said. She didn't flinch. Logan watched from his SUV across the street. The cuffs clicked shut. Maddie looked back once, scanning the windows. But he didn't move. He just whispered, "No way out now." Logan stood beside Detective Andrea Miles at a quiet briefing room, and DC cameras lined the walls. Reporters buzzed with questions. But Andrea stepped up first. "We can confirm that Madeline Wallace Allen has been taken into custody," she said. "Charges are pending based on direct evidence linked to procurement," she cracked. A voice from the other side of the room answered. "She always would." He turned. A man in a gray suit leaned against the wall. One of the real shadows. Higher than Brandon ever was. "Then what now?" Brandon asked. "I still have leverage. I have names. Access." The man approached slowly. "No, Brandon. You had access. You lost the asset. You lost the system." Brandon stood. "I'm not done." The man placed a file on the table. Inside, a flight manifest. A room number. A target. Brandon froze. "You're going to DC," the man said. Brandon's jaw clenched. "To clean up? To silence him? You think I can just walk in?" The man smiled faintly. "You're already dead, Brandon. You just haven't stopped moving." Then he left. Brandon stared down at the photo clipped to the file. Logan. The final obstacle. One last mission. And this time, only one of them was walking away. The courtroom was packed. Cameras buzzed. Reporters scribbled. Federal agents filled every bench. Maddie sat at the defense table, dressed in gray, eyes hollow but focused. Her father sat 2 rows behind her, face drained of power. Logan entered quietly. Clean suit. Composed. He didn't glance at Maddie as he passed her. On the stand, Detective Andrea Miles laid out the evidence. Clean, irrefutable, devastating. "Were you the first recipient of the Ashfall Drive?" The prosecutor asked her. "Yes. From Mr. Logan Cole." "Do you believe the data was authentic?" "It was airtight," she said. "Everything checked out. Money trails. Shell companies. Voice prints. Timestamped server access." "Did Mrs. Allen, Maddie, attempt to hide or destroy any of this data?" Miles nodded. "She used an executive backchannel to wipe access logs from Brandon's firm. It failed, but she tried." The room murmured. Maddie didn't blink. Then the defense rose. "We'd like to submit new evidence, Your Honor." A thumb drive was handed to the bailiff. Played through the monitor. A distorted video. Logan's voice. "I don't want justice. I want them to burn. All of them." The defense attorney turned. "Does this sound like a man seeking justice or revenge?" Gasps. Cameras. Chaos. Maddie turned her head, just slightly, and smiled. Back at the safe house, Logan threw his phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. "They planted it," he said. "That recording wasn't part of any testimony." Vince leaned against the counter, arms folded. "How'd they get your voice?" "From one of our early calls. Chopped and stitched. They're trying to flip the narrative." "They're not trying," Logan snapped. "They already did." He paced the room. Rage low, boiling. "Now I'm the dangerous veteran. The obsessed husband. The unstable insider. And Maddie, she becomes the victim. Groomed. Manipulated. They paint Brandon as the puppet master and her as the broken doll." Vince exhaled. "We need another move." Logan opened the sealed file Alina had delivered weeks ago. Inside were classified documents, redacted pages from a failed intelligence op tied directly to Brandon's earliest contracts. He stared at the codes, then the location tags. One caught his eye. A data bunker. Washington, D.C. underground. High security. Never meant to be accessed again. He looked at Vince. "There's only one way to finish this." "You're not serious." "I'm done waiting," Logan said. I'm going in. Outside the courthouse, the city was a media circus. Inside, Maddie sat calm. Not confident, but rehearsed. Her lawyer whispered something. She nodded once. Today, she'd take the stand. Across the hall, Logan stepped through a private security door, escorted by Miles and 2 U.S. Marshals. You still sure about this? She asked. Logan nodded. I won't let her rewrite history. In court, the prosecutor called him. Mr. Cole, please tell the court what you discovered about your wife's activities while you were deployed. Logan looked straight ahead. I found messages, locations, proof of an affair, yes, but more than that. She was moving funds, creating identities, building a new life with stolen clearance codes. The defense rose. Isn't it true you also planted surveillance, broke into her private property, conducted illegal operations? Logan's eyes didn't waver. Yes, I did, because no one else would, because they were protected, and I knew if I waited, more people would get hurt. The defense smirked. So by your own admission, you became judge, jury, and executioner? Logan stared at Maddie. No, he said. I became the one who survived. A pause. A door in the back creaked open. Brandon entered. Alive. Unannounced. A ripple of gasps filled the courtroom. And suddenly, everything shifted. The air inside the courtroom was frozen in disbelief. Brandon's presence turned every head, every lens. The man declared dead, now alive, standing at the rear doors with a smirk like he'd never left. Maddie's face lost all color. Her lips parted, but no sound came. She hadn't expected this. None of them had. The judge's gavel slammed 3 times. Order. Brandon walked forward slowly. Calm. Confident. Your Honor, he said smoothly, I'd like to be added to the witness list. The judge hesitated. You're under federal investigation. I've submitted a deal through the U.S. Attorney's Office. Brandon interrupted. Full cooperation. In exchange for immunity. Maddie jolted. You son of a... The judge banged the gavel again. Logan watched, silent, his hands clasped tightly together. Later, after hours of legal scrambling, the court reconvened. The judge's voice rang out. In the matter of the United States versus Madeline Wallace Allen, a beat of silence. We find the defendant guilty on all charges. Gasps. Maddie stood frozen, her world breaking beneath her heels. Logan didn't blink. He wasn't watching her. He was watching Brandon. Because the verdict was just the beginning. The holding cell echoed with steel and silence. Maddie sat alone, her wrists cuffed, eyes red, lips dry. The immunity deal's real. Disgusting, but real. Logan exhaled. Long controlled. Then it's not over. Miles leaned forward. You're not a cop. You're not a prosecutor. You've already done more than most would. I didn't start this for justice, Logan said. I started it because I was lied to, betrayed, left for dead. Miles hesitated. And now? Logan stood, heading for the door. Now, he said, without turning back. Now I make sure they both remember who they underestimated. Outside, Brandon stepped into a black car. The driver? Vince. Brandon didn't notice the lock click. And from the rooftop across the street, Logan watched. One final move left. And it wasn't going to be legal. The rain was falling sideways. Logan stood over a stone with no name, just a blank granite marker at the edge of a private military cemetery. No cameras, no press, no Maddie, no Brandon, only silence. He lit a cigarette, even though he hadn't smoked in years. It burned slow between his fingers as he stared at the cold slab in front of him. Beneath it was a duffel bag. Inside? Everything Brandon once ran with: account details, burner phones, raw data files. Evidence that no longer mattered. Because the system didn't break Brandon. Logan did. But he didn't feel like a hero. Behind him, Miles stepped out of her car, umbrella in hand. It's done, she said softly. The files you gave us. It'll take years to clean, but the damage stops here. Logan nodded. You could disappear, you know, she added. New name. Quiet life. I already did once, he replied. Didn't change much. Miles gave a small smile. You know what they'll say? What? That you're the villain who saved everyone. Logan didn't reply. He dropped the cigarette into the wet earth and walked away from the grave. He wasn't burying a person. He was burying who he used to be. Weeks later, a letter arrived at the VA clinic in Montana, signed only, M, no return address. Inside, a single line handwritten on cream stationery. I never knew who you really were. And that's what scared me most. Logan burned the letter. He'd left the city, bought a cabin, took no interviews, refused book deals. Reporters called him a ghost. At the clinic, he helped other soldiers with trauma. Quiet work. No headlines. The world moved on. Brandon's name became a case file. Maddie's story faded into true crime podcasts. But Logan? He lived in peace. Because revenge wasn't about winning. It was about ending the war inside. And his was over. A kid sat across from Logan during a session. You really did all that? He asked. Caught them. Burned them from the inside. Logan smiled faintly. Doesn't matter now. The kid nodded. But don't you ever wish you'd done more? Logan looked out the window, the sky wide and clean. I did exactly enough. He stood, pulled on his jacket, and grabbed his coffee. Before walking out, he paused at the door. I'll ask you one thing, he said quietly. When the people you trust turn out to be the ones who nearly destroy you, do you forgive them? The room was silent. And maybe that was the answer. And now, a word to you. If you made it here, thank you. This story wasn't just about cheating or revenge. It was about betrayal, power, and what happens when a quiet man decides not to stay silent anymore. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. We see you. If this story hit you deep or made you feel something real, do one thing for us. Like this video, subscribe for more thriller stories, and share it with someone who loves smart, bold storytelling. We'll meet again in the next epic revenge thriller. Until then, take care of your peace and watch who you trust. See you soon.